Okay, so we have a problem that is coming from in an SAT math reviewer, and we're gonna discuss the answer and how. We're gonna discuss how to solve this problem and also the answer uh, of this. But before that, please, at the end of the video, subscribe to this channel to help develop this small channel they have. So, in the six-sided regular polygon, how many diagonals can be drawn that have negative slope? All right. So, um, first is how does the negative how does a line looks like that has a negative slope? So, a negative slope graph, for example, like this. Here's a point, and let's say so we're gonna make a graph, and then this is one, and then let's make let's make it the same distance. So 1, 2, 1, 2, for example. So if you have a point here, let's say this. So this is at 1, 1, and this is 2, 0. So this point from 1, 1 up to this point 2, 0 is a negative slope. From left to right, it is moving downwards. From left to right, again, going from left to right, not from right to left, or else it's going up. It looks going upwards if we're going to look at it in this way. So again, a negative slope is um, is a line or a line segment that is moving downwards from left to right. So just to show you that it's a negative slope, so slope is having this formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So this is your x1, y1, x2, and y2. So y2 here is 0, and y1 is 1. The x2 is 2, minus the x1 is 1. So the slope is equal to 0 minus 1 is negative 1. 2 minus 1 is 1, which is equal to negative 1. So again, if it's only when the line segment is moving downwards from left to right, because if it's horizontal, then it's going to be 0. Like for example here, this point, I'll just use another color. From here to here, so the coordinate for this is 2, 1. So if you're going to compute the slope for that, then it's going to be, so this will be your x2 and y2. So it's going to be 1, which is the y2, minus the y1, which is 1, over x2, which is 2, minus the x1, which is 1. So this is going to be 1 minus 1 is 0, over 2 minus 1 is 1. So it's 0. And if it's upwards, then it's going to be positive. So going back to our figure, so since the perspective of looking at the slope of the graph is from left to right, so we're going to check only these points going to the right side, going to this way. So we're going to start with E. So if we make a diagonal from E, then there's only one thing that is not going upwards. It's this, but that is a slope of 0. By the way, M is the symbol for slope. So that is not a negative, and the rest are going upwards. And in the first place, this is not a diagonal because that's a side. So, and this one is going upwards, going upwards, going upwards. So it's not possible for us to have a negative slope from a point E. I mean, for the vertex E. So now we're going to have the F. So from F going to D is a negative slope. So I'm going to put a check mark for this. So this is a negative slope. And then from F to C, so it's not a negative slope because it's just straight line, the slope is 0. If it's F to B, then it moves upwards. So I said from left to right, so if you're going to do the reverse from right to left, then it looks like the going downwards, but that's not how we look at the slope of a graph. It has to be from left to right. So it's only this F to D, and then now we move to A. So from A going downwards straight to E. So this one is an undefined slope. It's not a negative slope. So you might think I said that it's going if it's going downwards from left to right, but then this one is not from left to right. It's just literally going downwards. It's not moving from left to right. So because why is it not a negative slope? So if I'm going to show you, for example, the 2 and 1 in this example, this one, okay, so if I'm going to compute the slope of that, so we're going to change now the x1 and y, x1 and y1, y sub 1. So x1, let's say we're going to start from the top and then move downwards, so x2, y2. So the slope of this is actually undefined. So if I'm going to compute the slope, that's m is equal to, so the slope will be x sub y sub 2 is sorry, this is y sub 2. So this is y sub 2, and so that's 0 minus 1 to 0. Oh, sorry. Oh yeah, so 0 minus 1 over 2 minus 2. 2 minus 2. Alright, so let me remove this first. Okay, so for a while, because I cannot remove this, and it's 2 minus 2. So m is equal to negative 1 over 0. So which is undefined? Undefined. And so that A to E is not possible. So we're going to move to A to D, which is a negative slope. And then from A to C, that's moving downwards from left to right. So that is a negative slope. And then for the B, C, and D, there's no point here to make a diagonal because it's from left to right. So that's why we don't include that anymore as a starting point of our diagonal. So the correct answer for this is letter D.